Hey everyone, welcome back to I think this is episode 11 of the Everything Communication Podcast. It's been a while. It's been a while, man. It feels like it's been longer than a week, to be honest. I've missed this. I've missed this, man. Got a banger for you guys today. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep this one very short and sweet, partially because I've got somewhere to be, but also because I don't think there's much to say on this topic today. I was thinking back on my journey so far. I was speaking to someone earlier about how I started off public speaking in schools. So for those of you that don't know, started off speaking in secondary schools. I went back to my secondary school for the first. No, it was one of the first public speaking engagements I did. I went back to my secondary school, but anyway, I'd done a couple before that, and it was very humbling. I'm not gonna lie, because for context, I'd started in corporate and I kind of just started having fun in corporate. I was just doing my own thing. The first couple months of corporate were very nerve-wracking. I've always been quite shy, didn't have many friends growing up, had a small circle, all that kind of stuff. So I wasn't really the out there guy. I wasn't extroverted, like none of that. That wasn't really me, right? And to this day, I would say that some of that stands true. Like I would call myself an introvert. Um, Definitely breaking away from the shyness. If you can answer, if you can answer already. But back then, I kind of broke out of that by just doing what I wanted. And so in corporate, I remember I found it quite easy to speak to people once we were in a room together. So if it was just one on one, easy, I can do it. When it's big crowds of people, that's where I'd crumble. That's where I'd fall. And so I built quite a few different relationships one on one with people that were on the same level as me in corporate and started putting on like networking days and running events, running communities, all of that kind of stuff. I think it was going really well. I think it was going really, really well. And then I finally went to go and do my first talk at school. I remember my heart was beating like it was going to beat like Michael Jackson. It was beating like Michael Jackson. I can't lie. It was much. It was a lot. So I remember doing that and coming back from that speaking engagement and just feeling like, damn, I did not cook at all. Like I did not do well, right? But it didn't go as badly as I thought it would. Because I had all these thoughts in my head about me making a mistake and then people laughing at me or getting booed off stage or so many irrational thoughts came to my mind as soon as I thought about public speaking because it was something that I feared for so long. And once I had kind of conquered that and I was like, oh, this is actually not that bad. I then realized the entrepreneur in me came out and the entrepreneur in me realized this is actually a really high value skill, right? For two reasons. Communication is everything, which is why this podcast is called the Everything Communication Podcast. If you don't believe me, try to get a job without speaking. See who hire you. That's a very elementary example, but it shows how something as simple as work, which is what we spend most of our time doing, requires us to be in contact with other people. We have to speak to other people. You have to speak to your friends if you want to have conversations with them, to find out about their lives, to build deep, meaningful relationships. That comes through being a good communicator. If you want to be in a romantic relationship for a long period of time, you have to be a good communicator. Like there's so many use cases for being good at communication, right? That's the first one. He's been through. The second is that all public speaking is just sales. It's sales on a big stage in front of a big group of people. Because in sales, you're trying to persuade someone to buy something. You're trying to persuade them to buy something from you. If I had this highlighter here and I was trying to sell you this highlighter, all I'm really doing is trying to get you to believe that this highlighter is worth £5 or £10 or however much I'm selling it for. Now you have a bunch of beliefs that will pre-configure your brain to believe that what highlighter for £5? Why is it worth £5? And so it becomes a harder sell the more out of alignment this highlighter is. Public speaking, instead of me selling a highlighter, Some people do sell highlighters from stage. Some people do sell courses, products on stage. But public speaking often is you selling an idea. If I did a talk on resilience and why journaling is the best way to overcome resilience, that's my message. That's the thing I'm trying to get across to you. The way in which I deliver that message may be through a story that I tell. It may be through an anecdote. It may be through showing you research. It may be through telling you about one of my friends. So there's all these different things that I can use to now sell you this idea. But that's what I'm doing. I'm just selling you an idea. And for those of you that are living under a rock, sales is arguably the best skill to learn ever of all time. And that's what public speaking is. It's just sales to a large group of people. And then lastly, public speaking is the most feared thing, even before death. There's been so many studies that have been done to show that people fear public speaking more than they fear dying. And so the entrepreneur in me was like, okay. So I can learn how to sell, gain a really good skill. I learn how to communicate better. And then also, this is something that's going to probably be in high demand because not a lot of people want to do it, but there is a lot of use cases for it. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna master this. I'm gonna master this public speaking thing. Locked in, started doing a lot more talks, got pretty good at it, got a portfolio, transitioned into corporate, and now I do public speaking coaching. But at the beginning, it felt like this is the worst thing in the world. This is horrible. I remember being on stage on one of my first speaking engagements. I knew I was yapping. I knew I was over talking. I stood on that stage for 50 minutes. I think I was supposed to be brought in for like 25. And I could see the students, they did not care. They were locked out. They did not care. But if I hadn't have done that 50-minute talk, I wouldn't have got paid the amount of times I've been paid to both deliver and coach people. And I say all of this to say, all you need to do is stay in the game. There are going to be days where it's going to be hard. There are going to be days where it's going to be easier. But you can't afford to quit before it gets good. And yes, there's going to be times where life gets in the way and you can't today. You can't practice your public speaking today. You can't work on your scripts. You can't build your business. You can't dedicate the time that you want to the thing that you're passionate about today. But it doesn't mean that that's a reason for you to stop doing it point blank, period. No, all it means is you get back up and you get back on it tomorrow. And so quite simply, I'm going to leave it there. It's going to get good. That is fact. But there's a process you have to go through before you get to that point. And if you stop before then, was it even worth it? Appreciate you guys listening. I'll be back next week for episode 12, I believe. I'm going to check this after this, but take care. Have a good rest of your weeks.